The left is very influential in the culture wars and is spreading very toxic ideas in various areas of life in relation to education, gender, sex, race, identity, all of it. But we can't overlook the poisonous influence of growing numbers of online right-wingers. I mean, it really has become a problem. Some people refer to them as the woke right. I prefer the term the crank right, just to distinguish them from, decent, proper, right-leaning individuals. But this right wing, which is influential amongst sections of young people on the internet, has become profoundly anti-Semitic. And it's interesting because the crank right is more open about its anti-Semitism. They will openly say the problem is the Jews, whereas the left will say the problem is the Jewish nation. And it's like, it's the narcissism of small differences, because both of them are essentially saying there is a Jewish thing which is corrupting Earth as we know it. There is a Jewish phenomenon which is corrupting the soul of humanity. The right says it's the Jewish people and Jewishness. The left say it's the Jewish state and Zionism. But it's the same argument. It's the exact same argument. So we should be very worried about that. But in relation to young people, I was in Israel at the end of last year, and I met lots and lots of people. It was a fascinating trip. But I met lots of IDF soldiers. In fact, while I was there, a group of young IDF soldiers heard that I was in town. I was doing a talk in Tel Aviv, and they invited me to have a beer on the beach in Tel Aviv. So I went down there, met up with these young IDF troops. Some of them were British born. Others were from other parts of Europe. Some were Israeli born. And I was just bowled over by these kids. I mean, to me, they looked like kids. I mean, incredibly young people. And they had taken up arms for their country. All of them had served in Gaza and were back in Israel relaxing. They'd risked life and limb. They'd lost friends. And I remember last year in the UK, a poll came out saying that I think around 40% of British kids between the ages of 18 and 25 would fight for their country if we were invaded. 40%. Because, we have encouraged this culture of not only national self-loathing, but also this culture of vulnerability, this culture of a very brittle self-esteem, where we've educated an entire new generation to think of words as hurtful, to always look for a safe space when they feel threatened by ideas, to conceive of themselves as incredibly fragile and incredibly weak, which young people are not weak. You're at your strongest when you're at that age. But we've cultivated that culture, and we've led to a situation where, if Australia was to be invaded tomorrow or Britain was to be invaded, would these kids fight? Some of them would, absolutely, but not all of them. So that contrast for me between a nation like Israel, which has such a profound sense of peoplehood and nationhood and a desire for self-protection, with Britain, which lacks those things, that I think is incredibly concerning. And if only we would stop demonizing Israel, we might see that there's a lot we can learn from it.